We tape?
Yes.
Is it on?
Yep.
So Sarah, today we're going to talk a little bit about how you're managing your pain. Now, I know you've said in the past certain activities at home make it worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
So tell me, what's your usual strategy? If an activity is making it worse, do you tend to push through it, or do you tend to just stop and not do the activity?
Well, I mean, when I am in pain, I usually just suck it up and keep going because, I mean, these things have to get done.
Okay, so after you'll do something where you're productive, you get a lot done, what does that do for the rest of your day generally?
Well, I mean, I'm definitely slower at things the rest of the day. I don't get as much done if I overexerted myself earlier. And I know that's a problem, but yeah, I tend to do that.
Okay, well, let's talk about how we can, you can be productive, because I can hear that's important to you,
Mm-hmm.
but you can also manage your pain. So I'm going to kind of explain how pain is related to activity and what we can do about it. Usually there are kind of two groups of patients, and there are patients that tend to kind of push through the pain as you do, but then it might compromise them the rest of the day. And there are patients that just maybe avoid activity altogether. My sense is that what you're describing is you're somebody who just kind of pushes through things. Okay.
Pretty much.
So to me, that says you want to be productive and be able to get things done. So I think it's possible for you to maybe even be more efficient with your time than now, although it feels like you're being efficient. It may be actually more efficient to do what's something called pacing of your activities. So, for example, let's say you're doing the dishes, and typically you'll push through them for 30 minutes until your pain is so bad. You get them done, but then you kind of are out for the rest of the day or can't do very much. Does that sound like it might
Yeah,
be
that's
typical?
usually what happens.
Okay. So a pacer would actually kind of check their pain level initially, and then start to do the dishes. And when the pain level goes up a little bit, they would actually take a break then and maybe read or do something relaxing until they feel their pain goes back down to what it was originally.
Mm-hmm.
And then go back and resume, say, washing the dishes once again until the pain level goes up, and then they'll take a break. So it's sort of this model where you're productive for a little while, you take a break, and so it takes longer to maybe wash the dishes, but what people find, the pacers find, is that at the end of that activity, they've gotten it done, A, and B, the whole rest of their day hasn't been compromised because their pain isn't so excruciating. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's just, sometimes I'm strapped for time and I really just want to get things done, but, I mean, I'll definitely try and give it try it out, see what happens.
And you can look at different activities. One thing we'll do is look at different activities so that we can see if maybe you can delegate some of those, or if we can adapt or adjust some of those. So there are ways to be flexible in all of this. But yeah, I want to encourage you to maybe try this with an activity this week, and then we can kind of troubleshoot if you're not doing something you want to be doing. We can talk about that next week.
Okay.
But I think you'll find that in the end, the pacer can actually be more efficient with time, if time efficiency is important to you. So what you're going to do is you're going to identify some tasks this week. We'll give the example of washing dishes, but you'll come up with your own list.
Okay.
You're going to take a base rate on a 0 to 10 scale of what your pain is, say, when you're starting to wash the dishes. Okay, so say it's a 4 before you've even started. Then you're going to start to wash the dishes until your pain goes up 2 on that 0 to 10 scale. So when it feels like it's about a 6, what do you think you're going to do at that point?
Well, usually I would have pushed through, but like you're saying, I would probably take a break and do something else for a little bit.
So yeah, a pacer would take a break and do something relaxation. For one, or relaxing, one person might find reading a magazine. So they're going to read the magazine until, do you remember how long you're going to do the relaxation activity?
Just until my pain decreases again?
Yeah, you're going to wait till it decreases to what it was when you started. So it doesn't have to go to 0, it would go to,
Right.
say, 4.
Okay.
So say it takes 10 minutes for it to get back to the original level, which was 4. And then you're going to go back and start to do the dishes again. And you'll do the dishes until when?
Until it goes up 2 points.
Exactly, until it goes up 2 points by your subjective rating. And you're going to keep doing that basically until you get the dishes done. Now, do you have any questions?
I mean, what if my pain pretty much stays the same? Do I still have to take a break?
So the idea is that you are monitoring your pain, and if it starts to rise, you're going to take a break. So what do you think the answer to your question? So if it's not getting any worse,
Oh, then I guess I wouldn't take a break then.
yeah. If it's the idea is just to keep your pain from increasing and then pushing through things. But if your pain stays at a 4 and you're able to do the dishes when your pain is at that level, then you don't need to take a break. But the main idea of this, though, is to start to really pay attention and monitor your pain rather than kind of ignoring it and saying, I have to get this done.
Yeah.
So you might find that if when you start really paying attention, like, oh, it is increasing. Yeah. And then as you do this more and more, what you'll find is the times will be sort of predictable. Like, oh, okay, usually I can do this for about 10 minutes before I need to take a break. And then usually it takes me maybe 15 minutes for it to go down. And then you can actually start to use those times and just sort of schedule those times to do these activities and do the pacing. The thing with that, though, is you should kind of periodically reevaluate because your time up doing the activity should get longer and your time down should get shorter if you're doing it right. So you don't want to ignore your pain and just go by the times. You want to constantly be reevaluating that.
Right.
Okay. So for homework, you're going to choose 1 or 2 activities to do this week to do the activity pacing with, and then you're going to report to me next week your progress, and we'll troubleshoot. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the worksheet that you'll be using. So you're going to make a list of activities that typically household activities that increase your pain, and then those that typically decrease your pain. And you're going to star any that you think you can delegate. Okay, so first let's figure out, are there things that other people could be doing in my household? Choose one, and you're going to delegate that activity. Okay? Then you're going to choose one that you didn't delegate, and you're going to use that to do the activity pacing. And so you'll see the example here. You're going to write say it's washing dishes, you're going to write the activity. I actually, be sure there's not a place for it here, but let's go ahead and add one. I'm going to put baseline pain, because before you actually start, you want to check your baseline level of pain on a 0 to 10 scale. Okay? And then put that there. Put your activity and how long it takes for it to go up 2 points. So if your baseline was 4, time how long it takes to go up to a 6.
Okay.
And then you're going to start timing how long it takes for you to go back down to a 4 with the relaxation activity. So maybe this will be reading 15 minutes. And then you just continue with that chart on both sides, charting the time it takes to do the activity, and it goes up 2 points, and the time it takes to resume to baseline. Okay? And finally, you're going to look to see if there's any of the above activities you put up here that you could somehow adapt. And they give examples. For example, with folding laundry, you might, instead of doing it standing, you might do it sitting.
Okay. That makes sense.
So do you have any other questions on this worksheet?
No, I mean it's pretty straightforward, and I'll definitely give it a try.
Okay, yeah, let's just look at it as an experiment, and we'll look at the results next week and troubleshoot, talk about it. Okay.
Sounds good.